Hey folks, it's Duger Does here. Welcome back to my channel. I know the video's a little late. I'm sorry about that. Um, I went out of town to run some errands. Also wanted to check out a few of my old stomping grounds. When I was in college, I lived in a town called Owasso. That's Owasso. Now, and it's about 35, 35 miles northeast of Tulsa, which is where I live now. And so while we was out there, we drove around to look and see places that we used to live in, and things we used to do back then. And the first thing that made me really sad, seeing how built up the town was, because when I lived there, it was pretty rural. There wasn't really a whole lot of stuff out there to do, but um, we stopped to look and see where one of the ponds was that I used to go fish at. I got heart sick because the farm the pond sat on was gone. The ponds were gone. It was all built up with houses. And then when we got out to a place called German Corners, which is in between Owasso and Collinsville, it was all built up. There was even a Walmart out there, which shocked us because when we lived out there was almost nothing there. And then as we headed into town, we noticed that there was a lot of buildings along the road that led to the place where we lived that wasn't there before. In fact, the road that we used to drive down to get to where we lived was all gravel now. It wasn't even paved. And back then, when we lived there, it was paved. And it's really not even a street anymore. If you ask me, it doesn't look like a street to me. But so we got to about 96th Street North, and there were buildings everywhere. When I lived there, it was all farmland. There was our housing addition, which was El Rio Vista, and that's at 96th Street North. And there was farms that surrounded the whole area. Now it's all built up. The farm, there was the farm on one side of the intersection that we used to go to fish on. That farm's gone. Then there was another farm uh, across the street that the old man he wouldn't even let you on his land to fish back when I lived there. Well, he sold off most of his property now. It's all built up with big businesses and restaurants. Um, he even took down his house. All that was left was grain silos, and just weird, weird, weird. And as we got closer into town, it was just all built up and really sad to see, because living there back in my day, it was a beautiful place to live. It was mainly countryside. And to see what it looked like now it's really sad. And I'm glad I lived there when I did because it was fun then. Because you had quite a few places within walking distance to go fish. Not anymore. Nope. Now you gotta go 40, 50 miles down the road just to get into any more real country. And that's just sad. And it's not the only place I've been to where I've either lived or visited that is like that now. Because even the place where my grandmother's from, which is Seymour, Missouri, it's all built up now. And a lot of the places there don't even look the same. Because the last time I was there as a teenager, there was just a town square to really do anything in. We would walk from it was my uncle's house, but it was originally my great grandmother's house. And we would walk from there to the town square, and there was like one game room there, and I think there was maybe like 3 pool tables and maybe 2 or 3 arcade games in that little game room, and that's really all there was to do. And other than that, just walk the town square. Then it'd just go back home because there really wasn't anything else to do. To really have fun, because I had some cousins who were a little bit older than me, and thank God they drove, because life there was kind of boring without a car, because you'd really have to drive back into town, which was about roughly about maybe 30 miles, give or take a few miles, to Springfield to do anything. And really, in Springfield, there wasn't much to do there either. But it's just, I don't know. Once the town starts to grow, that small town feel is gone, and it's a place I really don't want to visit anymore, because it's just not what it used to be. And I know things have to change, and that's just part of life. Things change, but some things you don't want to ever change, especially if you've been from a small town and you remember that small town feel, and you don't ever want that to change. You want that town to stay exactly like it was. So if you're from a small town, do me a favor, down in the comments, leave the name of the town you're from and what you think about your old hometown growing. Or if you still live there, let me know what you think about how it's grown and how you feel about the changes. Well, this is Duke or Does saying do good and deuces. Bye-bye, y'all.